A top Hamas leader says the terror group will release the bodies of 4 Israeli hostages in a couple of days and 6 living hostages on Saturday. The 6 are the last living hostages set to be freed under the first phase of the ceasefire deal in the Gaza Strip. Former advisor to Benjamin Netanyahu, Daniel Rubenstein, joined us from Israel for more on the ceasefire.
We are currently still in phase 1 of what I'm calling the hostage ransom payment. It was supposed to see the release of 33 Israeli hostages from Hamas captivity in exchange for hundreds of convicted Palestinian terrorists who are in Israeli prison. Now, of the 33 hostages who are going to be released, it's understood that a number of them are dead. Either they were killed on October 7th and Hamas took their bodies into Gaza and have held them until now, or these are hostages that were taken on October 7th and did not survive captivity. We do not know the names of the hostages that will be released, dead or alive. Hamas usually publishes the names of these hostages about 24 hours in advance. So the people of Israel are being tortured by Hamas, who is not telling us who is dead, who is alive, who will be released alive, who will be buried. The families are waiting until Thursday, when dead bodies will be released. Those bodies will be taken to a forensic institute and analyzed and checked for their identity. In addition, we learned today that 6 live hostages will be released. The original plan was that 3 would be released this Saturday, and the following 3 will be released a Saturday from now. It turns out we're going to get 6 back on Saturday. We do not know their names. We do not know their condition. We have seen no sign of life. The only information that we have, most of the information that we have about the hostages still in Hamas captivity, is from hostages who have returned and said, I saw X hostage at Y place. They're alive. They're not well. They're being tortured. We get all kinds of information, and then this information makes its way to the Israeli media.
And with the return of dead hostages expected for Thursday, we asked if there will be support for an extended ceasefire from the people of Israel.
It's known to the Israeli public that Hamas is holding both live and dead hostages. Some of the dead hostages, some of the bodies that Hamas has been holding, it was announced already by the Israeli authorities that they are dead. So it's known to some degree who is dead, but there is still certainly some uncertainty about the identities. I would describe myself as cautiously pessimistic. We are in the middle of a hostage ransom payment, which is seeing Israel release hundreds of convicted Palestinian terrorists in exchange for the hostages who are still alive. The big question before us is what happens in phase 2 of the hostage ransom payment. Right now, we are close to finishing phase 1, which was the release of civilian Israeli hostages who are still alive. In phase 2, most of the Israeli hostages are male soldiers. The price that Hamas is demanding in exchange for their release is very high, and part of that price is the full withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza. That brings us to an impasse. On the one hand, we want to see all of our hostages return home safely, but the price that Hamas is demanding is that Hamas remain in power in Gaza and that Israel leave Gaza so that Hamas will be in a position to carry out more October 7th style massacres again in the future. It will continue to govern Gaza, and maybe it will continue to hold a few hostages. We don't really know. So this is the focus of intense diplomacy between the US and Israel with Arab countries, is how can Gaza have a different future that is not governed by Hamas so that the Israeli military can leave Gaza and that all of the hostages can come home safely, and those who are dead will come home for a proper funeral.